Hello, divine beings. I hope everyone's doing good on this Friday. I'm doing good. Okay. 3 words that cycle suffering. 1, coping. 2, healing. And 3, fixing. These are the words that we need to drop from our vocabulary. We think they're good words, but they actually carry bad vibrations, and they perpetuate stories that just lead to more suffering, and especially with the law of manifestation. At least what I've come to figure out is this. Coping is just another word for avoidance. Healing is just another word for wounded. And fixing is another word for broken. Well, if you have to heal yourself, you must be wounded. Well, what you perpetuate is your ego will look for more things to wound you so you can do more healing. And you're going to be doing that for a lifetime. It's just a cycle of wounded healing, wounded healing, wounded healing. It's just perpetuated. Until you get to the state of wholeness, you'll never be fully healed. You're just constantly looking for healing. You don't need to be healed once you realize you're a divine being. Just having an experience, just acceptance. Acceptance and love is all you need. And fixing is the same thing. Oh, I feel broken, therefore I'm fixed. So you're constantly looking for things to be broken about so you can look for more things to fix you. It's perpetuating. Avoidance is one I had hard trouble with. For many, many years I've been an alcoholic. I've only been clean maybe a year. I don't even know. That's how much I've let go of that identity. That identity's gone. I don't even know how long it's been, because the more I attach to the length of it, it wasn't fully letting me let it go. So I don't even care how long it's been. The fact is I'm a different person. I don't even crave. I've fully let it go because I stopped coping and just accepted the fact that I create and manifest my reality. I assume what is true, and therefore it is true. I don't have to deal with perpetuating cycles of suffering anymore. I really don't. And neither do you. We need to drop these words. They're not solving or helping anyone. At least in my opinion. You're literally going to walk through your whole life just finding more things and attracting more things to the law of assumption. More things to heal about, more things to fix, and more things to cope. Coping's just a band-aid. If you were to be in the state of being of wholeness and love, unconditional love, wholeness, have faith, then you don't need to heal or cope or fix anything. In your divine state, you are perfect. We are perfect in the image of God, right? That's what it says in scriptures. We are literally perfect. We don't need to fix or heal or cope with anything. We just need to accept things that bring true value, or accept the fact that we can let go of things naturally that don't benefit us. It's all about acceptance. Acceptance is unconditional love. You enter the realm of love through acceptance. And the fact that we have the power. All you have to do is shift your identity, and words help cultivate identity. They do. I mean, labels, we shouldn't have labels at all, but at least if we're going to deal with labels in this 3D, and we do, the whole world is created and manifested through labels. So at least use labels that actually bring you value. Like wholeness. When you think of wholeness, ain't that like encouraging? Like the word empowerment or growth or love. Those things, like faith. Those words really, like, the energy behind them is like positive. It's uplifting. Coping, if you really think of the word coping, you're like, oh, I immediately think of, oh, it's something that I just don't want to deal with, so I'm finding a way to numb myself, so hopefully it just goes away. No, what it does, through my experience of alcoholism, what it does, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's a full-blown problem, to the point where you're going to have no choice but to face it without the coping in order to actually let it go. Because I remember when I used to first drink, I've been drinking since I was 12. And it was to cope with a death in the family. My dad committed suicide when I was 12. And I was coping with that since I was 12. So, and I did it through alcohol and drugs. But alcohol was one of the main things. And at first, I was one of those people you call a functioning alcoholic. I could literally drink a shitload. And I could go to work. I could do whatever. And I could be excellent at it. But over time, when, the coping just, became more and more bigger and bigger, because I wasn't actually letting go or trying to actually understand how to just accept and let go, or accept and absorb the good things. So it just kept on festering and festering and festering, and just finally I got to a point where I could have 6 or 7 drinks and I was just full out belligerent. I could no longer be a functioning alcoholic. I was just an alcoholic and didn't care and was miserable and just wanting to make people around me miserable. And it was only for the fact that I just kept on avoiding and coping, using alcohol to cope, instead of just letting go of the problem and accepting it to let it go. Because you can't fully let go of something until you accept the fact that it happened, but you accept the fact that you don't have to let it control your life. You can actually take the lesson from it, and you can benefit from the remembrance of the lesson, but you don't have to take it on as a negative thing, or attached to it so strongly where it actually affects your everyday functionality. But anyways, my whole thing is, there's a lot of people on here that are in the same, niche of law of attraction and, self-love and divine guidance, and that's great. But some of them even use the word healing and all that. They don't realize, I guess, we all have our levels of awareness, and everyone has their evolution. You can't avoid it. That's something that is just natural. You either do it on a slow, steady pace through resistance. You're still evolving even through resistance. You're just doing it at a slower rate, and more suffering is required. Or you can do it more of a flow and being authentic, and it just flows better and it just feels faster. It feels like you're actually getting everything you want faster because you're going with the flow, a natural flow, not a counterfeit flow. Because some people, they think they have flow and they really just have resistance, or just like a force. They're trying to do everything with force and they call it flow, but it's really not. Because anything that's you have to put effort to, that's force. And force and resistance sort of go together. Flow is literally effortless. I've started to really understand this. Like, it is effortless. You just got to choose flow over force. Don't try to force something. And you got to not hold back either. To be authentic, sometimes you're going to say things and you're going to do things that piss people off. And, you got to realize, don't beat yourself up. It's their job to accept what they want to accept. Just like this video, take what resonates, leave the rest. I mean, it's not going to bother me at all. If it helps someone, great. If nobody gets anything out of it, great. This is just me documenting my personal journey, and if it helps someone, that's what I really, really want, is it to help someone. But, it is what it is. But I assume, someone out there has felt like I have, because I've been sort of like a manic depressive all my life, as far as back as I can remember. And this is what I've learned from it. I've learned that suffering comes from within, because it doesn't come from outside. All the outside evidence is just a reflection of the suffering you have inside. You're just projecting it out, so it's reflecting back to you. And there's another video I'm going to do probably tomorrow about that is correlation with that identity shifting and how it is a real thing. People think that it's delusional. It's really not. It's actually a real thing. We do it every day and we don't even notice. You're having micro shifts in identity every millisecond. It's just sometimes it seems like you don't see anything. It's sort of like how time passes. The longer time passes, like 5 years, you can finally see the results. But you're actually micro shifting every millisecond. You're micro shifting, because 1 minute you might believe something is true for you, and then the next minute you're like, I don't want to accept that as truth no more. So you literally every time you do that, your identity is slightly shifting your perception of things, because that's all identity is perception. It comes through perception. So the lens of which you see things. So I hope if this helped anyone, hey, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Oh yeah, and if you feel free and got value, hey, donate to Cash App. Anything helps the channel. Thank you. Have a good Friday.